All right, in this video, we're going to be talking about the distributive property. Okay, so the distributive property is when we have multiplication on the outside of our parentheses, and then either addition or subtraction on the inside of our parentheses. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the number or variable or term on the outside of our parentheses, and we're going to distribute it to each term on the inside of our parentheses. So first one, we're going to take our 2 and distribute it to our 4, and take our 2 and distribute it to our 3. So we have 2 times 4, and then we have 2 times 3, and then you're going to keep whatever sign you have right in between your two terms, plus. And then you're going to go ahead and simplify from there. Our order of operations say that we need to multiply first, so 2 times 4 is 8, and 2 times 3 is 6, and then 8 plus 6 is 14. Okay. One big misconception is when you have something like 2 times 4 times 6, that's all multiplication. That would not be the distributive property. You would not do that. On this one, you would just multiply first and then multiply again. So when there has to be multiplication on the outside and then either addition or subtraction on the inside to be able to use the distributive property. So on this next one, you're going to take your -5 and distribute it to both terms inside the parentheses. So you have -5 times 3x, and then you have plus -5 times 4. Biggest thing I see is students forget to distribute it to this second number. From there, you can simplify. You're going to get -15x and then minus 20. Or if you wanted to, plus a -20. Okay. One thing that you might see something like this, where the number's on the back of the parentheses, which is okay. Just distribute it just like you just did through. On this next one, you're going to distribute this x through to both terms here. So x times -7, and then plus, bring down your plus sign, x times 6, and then you're going to simplify. So you have -7x plus 6x. Now, this problem's a little different than the previous problem. We have like terms, which we just learned about, which you need to combine. So we need to combine -7x and a positive 6x. So -7 plus 6, different signs. So we subtract, keep the sign of the bigger number. So we have a -1x. Or some people might just put -x for an answer. Make sure you simplify all the way down. On this last one, it gets a little bit tricky when you have a whole bunch of negatives and subtractions, so you need to keep them straight. So we're going to take our -8 and distribute it to both terms inside our parentheses. So we have -8 times a -5 minus a -8 times 2x. -8 times -5, you already learned a negative times a negative is a positive 40. And then minus a negative is the same thing as plus 16x. And then I would rewrite it as 16x plus 40. And we would not combine these two terms because 16x has an x and this one's just a constant. Last problem. So when you get a problem like this, where you have subtraction or distributive, you have to distribute and you have to combine like terms, always get rid of your parentheses first. So you're going to distribute first, so 3 times 1, and then 3 times 3x. So we're going to have 3 times 1 plus 3 times 3x, and then plus our 7x at the end. Go ahead and simplify. 3 times 1 is 3, and 3 times 3x is 9x, and plus our 7x. Now we can combine like terms. So our 9x and our 7x are like terms. 9 plus 7 is 16x, and then plus our 3. Now we are in simplest form because we do not have any like terms. And that is how we use the distributive property.